Yo, what is going on, guys? It is Taylor the Fiend back again. And on today's episode, this article was sent to me and it is absolutely hilarious. I have to cover this one, is what I thought to myself. So, this is a story of a woman who decided to leave her husband, as a lot of these modern women like to do. And she decided to leave her husband thinking that the grass was going to be greener on the other side. She thought that she had it made, okay? And what I mean by this is a woman whose career started to pick up. She started to make more money, and she thought to herself, you know what? Now's the time to leave my husband. My husband, he's not as high earning as me. I've got more status than him. His work isn't as glamorous as me. I deserve somebody who is on my level. And stories like this are so funny, guys, because women do this crap to themselves, and then they end up like 40 years of age, single, alone, no children, right? And typically a few cats in tow as well. Okay, now I'm not saying that every woman has to go out there and have children. I'm not saying that every woman is going to divorce her husband and get some cats instead of said children. But what I am saying is it's very damn funny when it happens, and it seems to be happening a lot more often these days. So let's jump into this one. It is titled, I Left My Husband at 32 years of age for a More Glamorous Life. Now I'm 44 and I'm alone. And we've got this picture of this woman who's looking sad and alone, who albeit looks a bit older than 44. So let's jump into this one. Some Reddit posts hit you with their raw honesty, and this one from a 44-year-old woman looking back on a decision that she made over a decade ago is one of those. It's not a wild tale of infidelity or chaos, but a quiet, reflective confession about trading a steady marriage for the allure of something flashier. She writes in first person, walking us through the highs of young love to the lows of regret, and it's a story that lingers, asking what we really value when the shine wears off. Let's jump into it. So how it all began. This is a woman who's 18 years of age. She met her ex-husband Daniel at a community college in Oregon. He was an easygoing guy in a faded jacket oftentimes, working construction part-time. Now what's funny about this whole like men in these sorts of fields, okay, the construction fields, right, whether that be plumbing, plastering, being an electrician, I mean, all of the nitty-gritty of building, okay, bricklayers, whatever. A lot of women, unfortunately, I'm not saying all do this, okay, but even if these guys make great money, okay, they're doing what I would consider to be oftentimes honorable professions. These are the dudes who quite literally build the houses and things we live in, right, build the infrastructure of society. Oftentimes, to modern women, these guys, their positions aren't glamorous enough. And I find this especially funny, guys, because over the years, I've known some dudes who are highly successful, like plumbers, for example, highly successful electricians. And these guys make a crap load of money. But the thing is, the women don't necessarily want to date a plumber because it's not flashy, right? It's not glamorous. Now, this is not every woman, obviously, guys. Like, there are women out there who are married to plumbers and stuff like that. I'm sure there's a woman in the comments watching this. There's one of the 3 women who watch this channel is probably married to some dude who's an electrician, and they've been together for 20 years. That's fantastic, right? But oftentimes these days, the women will look at these professions and be like, you know what? This isn't what I envisioned for myself. Especially, this problem gets so much worse, by the way, when the women start outperforming the men. Okay, so when the women earn more, women don't really like that, guys. I'll be honest. They end up ditching these guys when they out-earn them. So let's continue here. We started dating my sophomore year, and by 25, we were married in a small backyard ceremony. It wasn't fancy, but it felt perfect. Him grinning at me, promising forever, while our families cheered. Those first few years were good. We rented a little house near Portland, and Daniel would come home from dusty job sites, telling me about his day while I studied for my marketing degree. We'd dream about children, a bigger place, maybe a dog. Hey, shout out to the dog. I love dogs, man. Like, I see all of these women get like cats and stuff. And, I'm always not a huge fan. I would much rather get a dog personally. But all of these women, like oftentimes in these stories, they seem to always opt for the cats. like every time. I've actually seen plenty of TikTok videos, which I'll resume covering at some point, you know, when I can deal with listening to the nonsense. But yeah, the women oftentimes get cats, and I actually see them in the TikTok videos ahead of time. It's so funny, right? Like the women will be in the process of divorcing their husbands and stuff, and they'll be collecting the cats already. It's hilarious. So blah, blah, blah. The first few years were great. So on. They thought about getting a dog. I loved his steadiness. He was my rock, and I thought that that would be enough, she says. When things started to shift, the shift came around 28 years of age after I graduated and landed a job at a boutique ad agency. My salary jumped, and I was suddenly in rooms with people who traveled the world and wore designer suits. Daniel was still swinging a hammer, happy with his crew and his old Jeep. I started noticing how his life didn't match mine anymore. I had upgraded and he hadn't. I would drag him to networking events. Well, oh my goodness. And he'd try to fit in, but I'd feel this creeping embarrassment when he talked about framing houses while others discussed mergers. At 30, I was promoted to account lead and the gap widened. I'd think he's so capable. Why isn't he pushing harder? Let me just stop you right there, madam, okay? Personally, guys, I would consider framing houses to be, you know, more respectable, perhaps, in many ways, than discussing mergers, right? Maybe that's just me, okay? But I don't understand why this woman is feeling embarrassed here about this dude who frames houses. Now, guys, like me personally, I would consider that to be something that's quite respectable, something that can't be easy, for example, but she just doesn't see it that way, right? Because she's out earning him. And here's the problem that many women have in their marriages and relationships and crap, guys, is like when they become the ones that out earn the dudes, they don't like it. They end up trying to trade up the guy, even if the guy does a great job, even if the guy can provide, even if he's like a hard worker, even if his profession is actually respectable. She now wants more, right? She doesn't want the dude who's working in construction. She wants the dude who's living in the nice suit, who, you know, who, wears a nice suit every day and drives a Bentley and lives in like some sort of mansion, okay? And oftentimes women think that they're entitled to these sorts of men because they earn money. Now, here's the real kicker, by the way. This is something I mention every single time we have videos about earnings and stuff like this, is men don't care about how much the women earn, right? So in this woman's head, she's probably thinking to herself, well, I earn more, so now I deserve a higher quality of man. But the problem is, your money as a woman holds very little leverage over men. When men are looking to end up with a woman, whether that be romantic, in any sort of romantic context, men are really not looking at your wallet. They are not looking at your status. They are not looking at your follow account. They are not looking at how big your house is or how glamorous your life is. Oftentimes, guys, women who have these attributes, ironically enough, are real pains in the ass because they think that they're entitled to higher, you know, to the highest echelon of men. Does that make sense? It's really quite disgusting, to be honest with you. Like, women think that, okay, well, I earn more money now, so I'm entitled to a higher, you know, a more successful man. But the problem is these successful men don't give a damn about how successful the women are. They think that it matters to us, but it really doesn't. So let's keep going here. The breaking point. By 32, I had bought a condo in the city and Daniel was still in our old rental, refusing to move. We'd bicker. Why wouldn't he get a desk job, something with a title? What the hell? What even is this, man? Imagine picking a job, right? Not because you're good at it, not because it suits your skill set, right? Or because it makes you the money that you need to be making, right? It allows you to afford your bills, your mortgage, whatever. But you have to choose a job because of its title. That is so stupid. That is so, yeah, let me work a job specifically because of the title of the job. That sounds so stupid, right? Guys, I don't care about the status of the job, right? And I think a lot of men feel the same way. Is like, a job is a job, okay? We're not out here trying to flex to our friends about, hey, Dave, you know, I've got this job. This is not how this works, okay? You do the job because you have bills to pay, and maybe you're talented at it, right? Maybe it's your calling. Maybe you think it's what you're supposed to be doing. You don't pick a job because of the title of the job. Ridiculous. He would say, I like building things. Why is that not good enough? But I wanted a husband who'd shine next to me, not the one who'd fade into the background. Who does this woman think she is, by the way? Who does this woman think she is? I think actually a lot of women would like a capable handyman, by the way. Right? If this is the dude who's actually like doing the nitty-gritty building, the framing of houses, I think there would be a lot of women who are interested in dudes like this. But again, right? She's earning more money. Now she thinks she deserves better. I filed for divorce one spring morning. He begged me to stay, said that he'd change, but I was done. I told him that I needed someone who could match my trajectory. He looked crushed, said I just wanted us, and I walked away certain that I'd find a better fit soon. This woman is describing, right? She's kind of describing her husband as though he's like a piece of clothing. You know, like, oh yeah, the sizing is not quite right. I'm just going to trade this in now. I'm going to trade my husband in. I think it's time for an upgrade. He doesn't fit me anymore, so I'm just going to trade him in. And this is the problem that so many men, by the way, have with marriage. This is certainly a problem that I have with marriage, is that women can decide to do this crap and leave you at any given point in time because they feel like it, right? Whatever the justification might be. Usually it's a really stupid one, mind you. But they can just decide to leave you at any point in time and take your crap, right? Take the kids, take half your things, okay? Like, depending on where you live, especially depending on what state and what state laws you're governed by, I mean, this can get really brutal for guys, really, really brutal. So she leaves him because he wasn't matching her trajectory and he was fading into the background. Ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. So here's a bit of an editorial take here. Her story's a classic case of getting dazzled by the climb. Daniel wasn't failing. He was just content where he stood. She couldn't handle that, deciding that he was the problem instead of her own shifting lens. He took the blow, but she's still the one reeling from the choice. So here's what happens after the split. This should be funny. Post-divorce, I threw myself into the fast lane. At 34, I moved to Seattle for a bigger role, managing campaigns for tech giants. I dated guys who fit the mold, executives, entrepreneurs, all sleek cars and penthouse views. It felt electric, like I'd finally stepped into life I deserved. There's that deserved word again. Daniel's Jeep became a distant memory that I would laugh off. It is crazy to me, guys, how a husband, right, an ex-husband of a woman can become a distant memory. You know what I mean? Like, how absolutely heartbreaking is that? This dude, like, gave everything to this woman, I assume, going out there, working hard, doing construction, okay? You know, they got their house together, doing the rentals, right? They're doing the rental, got married in front of the family, okay? And this dude just becomes a distant memory to her. That's brutal. Absolutely brutal, man. Let's continue. I got engaged at 36, so now she's out here getting engaged. Oh my goodness. So she got engaged to this next guy here. Notice how, by the way, she dated a whole bunch of these dudes, right? And what this tells me is usually when women date a whole bunch of guys like this, is that it means that none of these guys actually wanted to put a ring on it. So she finally found a sucker at 36. Took her a few years, but she managed to find one. I got engaged at 36 to a guy named Paul, a venture capitalist with a waterfront place. I thought I'd nailed it, proof I'd been right to leave, but Paul was all flash. He cheated, and we split at 38. I kept chasing the high, but each relationship fizzled faster than the last. So she left this hard-working construction man, right? Gets re-engaged at 36. But what do you know, guys? The highly successful venture capitalist man with the flashy car and all that, a waterfront place, wouldn't you know it? He was cheating on her at her 30. She thought she could lock down this highly successful dude, venture capitalist, waterfront place at 36 years of age. And of course, she gets cheated on. Now, by the way, guys, I want to really say this, okay? Again, I don't think cheating is right. I don't care what gender you are. I don't care how successful you are. But let's not pretend like this was not obvious, okay? Let's not pretend like this was not going to happen. In the same way, guys, if you're a dude, you go out there and you date some woman who has a whole bunch of red flags and you get cheated on, I mean, hey, it's going to happen, right? Like it was going to happen from the beginning. You ignored the red flags. In the same way, guys, women love to ignore reality when they go out here and try and get these top percentage guys. These guys are not going to typically give these women monogamy. Absolutely not. But anyway, he cheated. We split at 38. I kept chasing the high, but each relationship fizzled faster than the last. So, you know, the curtains were closing, the lights were coming on at the club at this particular time, and she couldn't find a relationship. Okay, and this is what happens, guys. Leave the good man, screw around with the bad boys, maybe the successful guys for many years, completely fail at that because none of them want to be monogamous, and now we regret it. So let's continue. Where I am now. The years piled up, late nights, swanky dinners, a corner office by 41. I don't know, whatever the hell that means, like 41 Street, I don't know. Oh, by 41 years of age, right, I'm silly. The years piled up, late nights, swanky dinners, a corner office by 41. I've got a loft now, a view of, I don't know how to say that, man, something sound, but it's just me in the silence. Friends post about family vacations and I swipe fast, feeling this ache I can't shake. I'd wonder about Daniel if he'd gotten that dog that we talked about. That's sad, man. That's I don't feel empathy for the woman, but you know, I feel for this guy whose wife just up and left him because she thought she could do better. And you know, they were going to get a dog together, have a family and so on. Sad stuff, man. Sad stuff. Last year, at 43, I saw an old college buddy at a copy workshop. He said that Daniel's married now to a landscaper named Tara with 2 kids. They live in a craftsman he built himself outside Portland. He showed me a photo. Daniel's laughing, a toddler on his hip. I said he deserves it, but it cut deep. Oh boy. So what happened was this dude who ate the divorce from his wife, okay, he went on, he lived his life, he found another woman, he got married, and he had 2 children with her. And she got the life, right? She got the traditional life that this woman now regrets not having. And to that, guys, I say too bad. You know, I really do. The women who go out here and make decisions like this, number one, you shouldn't be doing it in the first place. You made vows, okay? But if you're a woman and you make some, you know, you've got a boyfriend or something like this, and you break up with him because you don't want kids or whatever. You know, women don't have to have kids. They don't have to chase this traditional life with the dog and the white picket fence if they don't want to. However, I do find it very funny when women hurt a whole bunch of men along the way, fail to secure this, right? Toss this to the wayside, and then realize when they're 44 that this is what they actually wanted. Okay? Too little, too late. It's very damn funny. So what she realizes today, I'm 44, typing this from an empty loft. The city sparkles outside, but it's cold in here. I keep replaying that day I left Daniel, his plea, my mom's warning, don't ditch a good man for a ghost. I thought I'd find a power player who'd still give me a family. Instead, I'm all alone, resume glowing, life dim. Daniel's thriving, and I don't begrudge him, he earned it, but this regret is a weight, like I traded a home for a hotel room. I see people posting about leaving solid partners for more, and I want to yell, think twice. I didn't, and I'm still paying. Absolutely hilarious story coming in here today, guys. I left my husband at 32 for a more glamorous life. Now I'm 44 and alone. What do you guys think? Do not forget to leave your thoughts and your comments. Make sure you guys take care of yourselves, and I'll be seeing you all in the next one. Peace.